They clapped like I was a stranger. Because they didn't come for me. They came for Adam. When the dean called my name, Sarah Whitman, valedictorian, something inside me didn't rise. It settled. Like the final piece of truth locking into place. The auditorium exploded with applause. I stood up slowly, walked past their row, and felt their eyes burn into my back. They didn't cheer. My mother blinked. My father leaned forward, confused. Adam whispered something, probably a joke, but no one around him was laughing. For once, the moment didn't belong to him. For once, I wasn't invisible. I was undeniable. I climbed the steps to the stage. I hadn't told them about. I hadn't sent them my speech. I hadn't even mentioned I was graduating with honors. I had waited years for them to notice me. And when they didn't, I made sure the world did instead. I looked out at a sea of strangers cheering louder than my own blood. My heart beat hard, but not from nerves. From justice. Because this wasn't just a ceremony. It was proof. Proof. That I was never the problem. I was just never the priority. I started speaking. Not about them. Not even about the struggle. Just about the truth, that you can grow even when no one waters you. That some trees take root in dry soil. That some daughters become strong in silence, not in spite of it, but because of it. The words came easily. I'd rehearsed them 1,000 times in my head, late at night while folding laundry, writing essays between shifts, pretending not to care when Adam posted another family weekend photo without me in it. They saw effort. I lived it. I remembered. Every time they said no. When I asked for help with books. When I applied for summer programs. When I wanted to visit campuses. They always had a reason: too expensive, too far, not necessary. But somehow, there was always money for Adam. When he got into college, they threw a party. Balloons. A catered dinner. When I got in, my mom said, "Can you afford that?" I said I'd figure it out. And I did. While they bought Adam a new laptop, I used secondhand. While he traveled abroad, I worked weekends. Still, I showed up. Holidays, birthdays, graduations, his, never mine. I sat in crowds, clapped for him, smiled through my teeth while they took family photos without checking if I was in the frame. They never noticed. Or worse, they did. I used to cry quietly. Not because they didn't love me, but because they didn't even look. I was the wallpaper of their perfect family image. There. Present. Decorative. Easily ignored. So I stopped hoping. I stopped waiting. I started building. Quietly. On my own terms. They thought I was being distant. I was being deliberate. Every no they gave me became a reason to push harder, and now, here I was. On the stage they never imagined I'd reach. Wearing a medal they didn't pay for. Delivering a speech they'd never heard, for a degree they didn't believe I could earn. When I looked back down, I saw their faces. Blank. Frozen. Lost in a sea of cheers that had nothing to do with them, and that, finally, was enough. I was the older sister, but I was treated like the backup plan. From the outside, we looked like a close family. Matching sweaters in Christmas photos, polite smiles at church events, and perfectly captioned vacation posts. But inside our house, love was measured, counted in favors, divided by who needed more, and I always needed less. Apparently, Adam was the golden boy from the start. Even as a kid, he got away with everything. Broken lamps became accidents. Missed assignments? Boys will be boys. When I made one mistake, it was a character flaw. You need to think more, my mother would snap. You're older. Being older meant being responsible. Being second. I helped with chores while Adam played video games. I got maybe next year when I asked for dance classes. He got a drum set he used twice. When I protested, I was called jealous. Ungrateful. Dramatic. By high school, it was clear. I had to earn everything. He only had to ask. I worked part-time at a library while maintaining top grades. My parents said it was good for me. Adam got an allowance for doing nothing. He's focused on school, my dad defended. When it came time for college, I applied with no help. No campus tours. No application fees paid. My mom said, "We'll see what scholarships you get." But when Adam got in, they paid everything up front. Tuition. Housing. A car. It's an investment. My father said. I remember overhearing my mom on the phone once, laughing, "Sarah's so independent, she doesn't even need us." I stood in the hallway holding a rejection letter from a program I couldn't afford to attend. I wasn't independent. I was unsupported. Still, I tried to be the good daughter. I sent updates. Called every week. Invited them to my milestones. They rarely came. Adam has finals. We already had a trip planned. I stopped asking. They never noticed. At family events, everything revolved around Adam. His classes, his friends, his life. If I spoke, it was background noise. My mom once introduced me as our daughter, the hardworking one, then turned to gush about Adam's fraternity. I smiled. It was easier than correcting her. I spent birthdays alone. 8 box dinners between classes. Studio when I got my first scholarship, I sent them a photo of the letter. No response. 2 days later, they posted about Adam getting a B+ in economics. So proud of our boy, the caption read. I liked the post. Then deleted the message. I never got back. Every year, the distance grew. Not because I stopped caring, but because I started learning. They didn't forget me. They overlooked me. Intentionally. Comfortably. And the more I succeeded, the quieter they became. I kept every rejection, every overlooked message, every time they clapped louder for him. Not because I was bitter. Because I needed the reminders. That I wasn't imagining it. That the pain had roots, and when graduation came, I didn't invite them out of love. I invited them to witness what they never believed was possible. They called it fairness. But fairness always looked like him winning. It started with the small things. Adam always got the front seat. The last piece of cake. The newest phone. If I asked why, my mother would say, "Don't start." My father added, "You're older, act like it." That was code for, "Give up what's yours. Let him have it." I began to test it. One night, I didn't give up the remote. My mom looked at me like I had broken a rule. "Sarah, let your brother choose," she said. Not asked. Ordered. I handed it over. Adam didn't even say thank you. He never had to. When I got my first job, I saved up for months to buy a refurbished laptop. The next week, Adam mentioned wanting a new one, and he got it. Brand new, silver, untouched. My mother beamed. He needs it for school. I did too. No one asked. Holidays were the same script. Adam got gifts with bows, envelopes of cash, expensive cologne. I got socks. Maybe a book. "We thought you'd like something useful," my dad once said. Useful. Practical. Cheap. The worst was my 18th birthday. I asked for a small dinner. Just us. They forgot. Completely. We were busy with Adam's soccer tryouts, my mom said. I ate leftover pizza and pretended I was fine. Adam got a party that same month. Balloons. Cake. Laughter. I stopped expecting things. But I watched. Closely. When Adam failed a class, they blamed the teacher. When I aced mine, they nodded once and changed the subject. No praise. No pride. Just a nod. That was my applause. When I got accepted into college, my mom's first question was, "Are you sure it's worth the debt?" Not congratulations. Not even a smile. But when Adam got into a local university, they hosted a family dinner. Toasts. Speeches. Photos. I applied for financial aid alone. Filled out every form. Chased every scholarship. They didn't even ask how it was going. But when Adam needed help enrolling, they cleared their schedules. My dad drove him to campus. My mom called the admissions office herself. They kept saying, "We love you both the same." But love never felt equal. I was the plan B. The reliable one. The background character who kept the story moving. They only noticed me when they needed a favor. A ride. A copy of notes. A helping hand. One day, I overheard my mom on the phone again. "Sarah's too serious. Always has been. That's why Adam needs more attention." I stood in the hallway. I didn't feel sad. I felt exposed. Like the truth was finally confirmed. I wasn't hard to love. I was just easy to ignore. I started writing things down. Not to share. Just to remember. The dates. The comments. The cold shoulders. I needed proof. Because sometimes, I still questioned myself. Was I really the problem? But then I'd remember moments like when I got sick during finals and no one called. Or when Adam posted a family picture from Christmas, without me. "You left early," he said. I had left because no one saved me a chair. The signs were always there. They weren't subtle, and deep down, I knew, if I ever made it, they'd take credit for surviving the daughter they never supported. He got a car. I got questions about my tone. It was Adam's graduation from his program, 2 years in, barely passing, but you'd think he cured cancer. My parents rented a hall, invited extended family, hired a photographer. I offered to help set up. My mom said, "No need, just show up and smile." I did. I wore a dress I bought secondhand. Brought flowers. Tried to look happy. But I wasn't in a single photo. Not one. They posed with Adam. Cousins. Aunts. The dog. I took most of them. At the end, my mom said, "Oh, we forgot to get one with you." They didn't dot at dinner, they toasted. My father stood up. To Adam, our future. Our pride. Everyone clapped. I sipped my water. My stomach twisted. My hands itched to leave. I told myself not to ruin it. Not to cry. Not again. The next week, Adam posted a photo, my biggest supporters. It was him and our parents. I wasn't tagged. I wasn't mentioned. I commented a simple heart. He never responded. My mother texted me later, "Why would you post that? You're making it about you." That was the pattern. When I disappeared, they noticed nothing. When I showed up, they made me feel in the way. I was either too much or invisible. There was no middle ground. No safe space. Then came my own graduation. Quiet. No banners. No photographer. I texted them the date. One sentence, ceremony is at 1 p.m. If you want to come? My mom replied. 2 days later, isn't that the same day as Adam's job interview? I said yes. She didn't respond again. They showed up late. Sat in the back. I saw them walk in as someone else's name was called. No flowers. No camera. Just awkward clapping. They thought I was just another graduate. They didn't know I'd be the one called last, for a reason. The moment they called my name as valedictorian, everything stopped. The audience rose. People cheered. I stood and walked across the stage in a gown I paid for myself, with shoes I wore holes into, with a heart that had stopped waiting for them long ago. I looked down and saw them. Frozen. My mother's hand covered her mouth. My father blinked hard. Adam looked irritated. Like he had been tricked. Like the attention was stolen. I gave my speech. I didn't mention my family. Not once. I talked about struggle. About working late nights. About choosing growth over comfort. About becoming your own support system when no one else shows up. And they knew. Every word was about them. After the ceremony, people came up to me. Strangers. Professors. Classmates. Your speech moved me. You're incredible. Do your parents know how lucky they are? I smiled politely. I didn't correct them. My parents waited by the exit. My mom hugged me stiffly. You didn't tell us, she said. My voice was calm. I wanted you to see what it looks like when someone makes it alone. She flinched. My father opened his mouth. Closed it. Adam didn't say a word. I walked past them, and for the first time, I didn't look back. I didn't break. I detached. Quietly. Completely. The apartment felt colder than usual when I got home. I hung up my gown, carefully removed the medal, and placed it in a drawer, not out of shame, but because I didn't need it to prove anything anymore. The silence felt heavier than celebration. I sat on the floor, legs crossed, staring at nothing. No party. No cake. No phone buzzing with messages. Just stillness. I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I was hollow. Like my body finally caught up to a truth my heart had long known. They didn't see me that day. They saw a disruption. An inconvenience. A daughter who refused to follow their script. My success didn't make them proud. It made them uncomfortable. Because it forced them to see what they'd ignored for years. I didn't post about my graduation. I didn't upload photos. I didn't need the validation. I had the silence. And in that silence, I heard everything. Every time they told me, be quiet, don't make this about you, your brother needs this more. I stayed off social media for days. I didn't answer texts. My mom messaged once, "Are you upset?" I read it. Didn't reply. The old version of me would've explained. Would have said, "I'm not mad, just hurt." But that version didn't survive the stage. The world kept spinning. Adam posted a photo in a suit. First day at my internship. The comments poured in. Proud of you. Star of the family. My mother shared it. He's going places. I didn't exist in that world. Not even as a mention. I started writing. Not for them, for me. I wrote everything. From the forgotten birthdays to the whispered comments. From the nights I studied while they clapped for him, to the days I cried behind a locked bathroom door while dinner went on without me. Each word was like a weight being lifted. I wasn't venting. I was documenting. Because when people ask, was it really that bad? I needed to remember, yes. It was. Not because of one moment, but because of thousands of little ones, layered like dust. I looked through old photos. In every one, I was either on the edge or behind the camera. Never in the center. Never framed. Never held. Just there. Filler. Background. Forgotten. I thought about all the times I was told, "You're too sensitive, don't take it personally, it's not that serious." And I realized, those were just ways to keep me quiet. To make their comfort more important than my truth. I wasn't dramatic. I was dismissed, and once you realize that, the grief hits differently. It's not about missing them. It's about mourning the version of yourself who kept hoping they'd change. That night, I whispered out loud, "I'm done." And I meant it. It wasn't neglect. It was design. I started going through everything. Old emails, messages, birthday cards, if you could call them that. I wanted to see if maybe, somewhere, I had missed something. A kind word. A moment of pride. But the more I looked, the clearer it became. The silence wasn't accidental. There was a message from my mom, 3 years back. Can you transfer $100 for Adam's books? He's really struggling. I was living off instant noodles at the time. I sent it anyway. She never said thank you. Just, he's lucky to have you. Another one, don't bring up your graduation in front of Adam. He's having a hard semester. That one came the year I got into the honors program. I had barely shared the news. She shut it down before it could become a conversation. I found photos too. Adam's birthday, 22 pictures, full family. My birthday? One, blurry, half-lit, taken by a stranger. No caption. No cake. Just me, smiling like I was trying to prove I deserved the moment. Then came the real punch, a group message between my parents and Adam. I wasn't included. In it, my dad said, let's make sure we all support Adam at graduation. He deserves the spotlight. My mother replied, Sarah will understand. She always does. That line made my stomach turn. She always does. Because that's how they justified it. They convinced themselves that I didn't need support. That my silence meant strength. That my independence excused their absence. They weren't clueless. They were comfortable that I kept digging. Old voicemails. In one, my mom told a family friend, Sarah's always been a bit cold. Not like Adam. He brings people together. I remembered that call. I had just mailed her a handmade birthday card. She never mentioned it. In a dusty box, I found school awards with my name on them. Tucked away. Never framed. I found one of Adam's sports trophies on display in their living room the last time I visited. A participation medal. Centerpiece. Of the shelf. I wasn't looking for validation. I was looking for evidence. Proof that my memory wasn't broken. That my heart hadn't imagined the imbalance. And I found it wasn't favoritism. It was erasure. I started organizing everything. Digitally. Categorized. Dated. Every time they chose him over me. Every time I was silenced, redirected, minimized. It wasn't revenge I was after, it was clarity. I wasn't unloved. I was unwanted in the role I refused to keep playing. I didn't need to scream. I just stopped clapping. I didn't confront them. No dramatic speech. No angry calls. That's what they'd expect. That's what they could dismiss. Instead, I chose precision. Quiet. Unmistakable. The kind of silence that makes people nervous. I drafted one email. Simple. Clear. I attached a photo of my diploma, a video of my valedictorian speech, and nothing else. The subject line read, in case you were wondering. I sent it to my parents. And Adam. Then I blocked their numbers. Next, I posted one picture. Me, on stage. Gown. Medal. Smile. The caption, built without applause. No names. No explanations. Just the truth. The comments filled quickly. Friends. Professors. Classmates. All saying what they never did. I always knew you were the one to watch. Finally getting the credit you've earned. Your speech changed me. I saw mutual relatives liking the post. Sharing it. My cousin messaged me privately, I had no idea. I'm sorry. I didn't respond. I didn't need apologies. I needed release. A week later, my aunt called. Left a voicemail, your mom's devastated. They feel like you've cut them off. I listened once. Then deleted it. Not out of cruelty. Out of clarity. You can't cut off what never truly showed. I updated my alumni bio. Listed every scholarship. Every honor. Made it clear who I was without them. When they Googled my name, as I knew they would, they'd see it. My name, not theirs. My story, not the one they controlled. Adam posted something a few days later. A quote card, some people get addicted to bitterness. I laughed. That was his way of responding. Passive. Vague. Designed to make me look cruel. But no one bought it. His silence at my graduation said more than any caption. My mother emailed me once more. The subject, family is forever. No, I thought. Blood is biology. Family is presence. I archived the email. I didn't delete it. I wanted it there. As proof. That even after everything, they still expected access. They weren't angry that I succeeded. They were angry that I succeeded without needing them. That I proved them wrong without saying it. That I became undeniable and unapproachable. At work, I was promoted. My coworkers threw me a small celebration. Balloons. Cupcakes. Someone even brought flowers. I stood in the middle of it and realized, this is what it feels like to be seen. Fully. Without qualifiers, they lost access to me. My life. My light. My loyalty. All without a single scream. All because I decided I was worth more than waiting. I wasn't asking to be loved anymore. I was done performing. They erased me in silence. I returned in full volume. It's strange how quiet healing can be. No music, no parade. Just stillness. And the realization that I no longer flinch at the thought of family holidays. I don't dread the silence between calls, because I'm not waiting for the phone to ring anymore. I moved into a new apartment. Small, but mine. Every piece of furniture, every photo on the wall, was chosen by me. There's a framed picture on my desk, me, in my graduation gown. No one else in the shot. Just me. And for once, that felt full, not empty. I started teaching part-time at a community program for first-gen college students. One of them asked me, "Did your parents help you?" I paused. Then smiled. "No," I said. "But I helped myself. And that counts, too." I still see their posts sometimes. My mother pretending nothing happened. Adam pretending I never existed. My father staying silent, as always. I don't block them anymore. I don't need to. They've already lost the version of me they knew. That girl is gone. I go to therapy now. Not because I'm broken, but because I want to stay whole. I've learned that strength isn't about silence. It's about choosing when to speak. And when I spoke on that stage, I spoke for every version of myself they ignored, the little girl who begged for attention. The teenager who worked 2 jobs. The young woman who cried after her first rejection letter alone. All of them walked across that stage with me. And none of them looked back. Now, I celebrate my wins without apology. I throw my own birthday dinners. I light my own candles. I buy myself the flowers I used to wish someone would send. I am the family I needed. I am the applause I waited for. People ask if I'll ever reconcile. Maybe. If they change. If they try. But I won't go looking. I've stopped sending updates into a void. I no longer explain my value to people committed to misunderstanding it. Adam once said I was too proud. Maybe I am. Proud that I survived. Proud that I built a future. From scraps. Proud that I became someone I actually like waking up as. If that makes me difficult, I'll wear it like a medal, because I didn't just graduate. I outgrew them. My diploma didn't just say my name. It whispered every time they said I couldn't. And then it shouted back, "She did." I walk differently. Now. Not faster. Just freer. There's no weight on my shoulders. No hands holding me back. Just steps forward, and I don't need their applause. I never did.